All right, let's dive right in. What if I told you that the #1 rule of customer service, always apologize, was actually wrong? Today, we're digging into some fascinating research that shows how saying sorry can sometimes be the absolute worst thing a brand can do.
I know, it sounds totally backward, right? Our gut instinct, everything we've ever been taught says a quick, sincere sorry is how you fix things. But the data shows that under one very specific condition, that apology could be demolishing customer trust and making sure they never, ever come back.
So first up, we're going straight for one of the sacred cows of business, the idea that the customer is always right, so you always apologize. But should you?
I mean, you've seen it everywhere. Every training manual, every management guru, they all preach the exact same thing. A fast apology is the magic wand that fixes mistakes and wins back loyalty. It's supposed to be the ultimate reset button for any bad experience.
But then this incredible study from 2025 drops in the top-tier Journal of Consumer Research, and it just flips the whole idea on its head. Jenkins, Fombelle, and Steffel found that when a company apologizes for a mistake that you, the customer, never even noticed, your satisfaction, your trust, and your desire to buy from them again just completely plummet.
The researchers have this brilliant name for it: the failure spotlight. Think about it. The company thinks it's being honest and transparent, but what it's really doing is aiming a giant, bright spotlight on a screw-up you are happily unaware of. So the apology doesn't fix a problem for you, it literally creates the problem in your mind for the very first time.
And listen, this wasn't just a theory they cooked up. They proved it again and again across 5 rigorous experiments. You can see here they even did a huge real-world field study. They tried it with big problems, small problems, different kinds of apologies, and every single time the result was exactly the same. If the customer didn't know about the error, saying sorry made everything worse.
So here's the psychological trade-off happening in our brains. Sure, an apology might make a company seem a little warmer, but when it's for a mistake we didn't see, it absolutely tanks our perception of their competence. And it turns out we care a lot more about competence than we do about warmth. That hit is what destroys our trust.
Okay, so if apologizing for a hidden mistake is a terrible move, what about actively creating a problem in the customer's mind on purpose? Well, that brings us to the science of FOMO and how marketers manufacture desire out of thin air.
You know what I'm talking about, FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's that nagging anxiety that somewhere out there, other people are having more fun, getting better deals, or living better lives. And in the digital marketplace, it's become an incredibly powerful weapon.
Now get a load of this data. A 2025 study found this insanely strong connection, an R value of 0.86, between a person's level of FOMO and how much urgency they feel when they're shopping online. To put that in perspective, a link that strong in social science is practically a slam dunk. It's huge.
And look at this, it gets even stronger. The correlation between FOMO and how much we're influenced by push notifications is a whopping 0.87. That basically means the more FOMO you have, the more power those little dings and alerts from apps have over your brain and your wallet.
And here's the playbook. This is how they do it. Modern e-commerce is basically an engine designed to poke that anxiety. Limited time offers, countdown timers, messages like only 2 left in stock or 25 people are looking at this right now. It's all about weaponizing our natural fear of being left out to push us to buy now before our rational brain can kick in.
This all leads us to our final and maybe most shocking way that brands break our trust. For years, the gospel has been that influencers create authentic connections. But what if, for your most loyal fans, hiring that big influencer feels like the ultimate betrayal?
And you can see why brands are all in on this. The return on investment can be absolutely astronomical. I mean, we're talking about campaigns that bring in 500, even over 600% ROI. On paper, it seems like a no-brainer, a guaranteed win.
But here's the twist. For a brand's die-hard fans, the ones who feel a sense of ownership, who've been there from the start, a big, splashy influencer deal can feel like a slap in the face. It feels like the brand they helped build is selling out, choosing a famous face over its actual community.
And we're not talking about some quiet grumbling. Oh no, the research shows these loyalists actively punish the brands. They start public rebellions online, they jump ship to competitors, and sometimes they even start creating negative content just to hurt the brand they used to love.
So what's the takeaway from all this? The old playbook for marketing and trust is pretty much broken. It turns out the smartest moves to build and keep your customers' faith are often the ones that feel the most
well, weird and counterintuitive.
So what's the new playbook look like? It really comes down to these 3 new rules. Number 1, fix it silently. Don't put a spotlight on your mistakes, just make them right. Protect your reputation for being competent. 2, use urgency with respect. FOMO is a real, powerful emotion, not just a cheap sales trick. And number 3, protect your core fans. Those loyalists are your most valuable asset. Don't ever trade them for short-term hype.
Which leaves us with this one last, pretty provocative question. In a world that screams for radical transparency, what if the science is telling us that sometimes the most honest, the most competent, and the most trustworthy thing a brand can do is just fix the problem and say nothing at all?
To stay ahead of the curve and keep up with all the twists and turns, make sure you subscribe and keep leveling up your brain.